Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with Jonathan Twomley, who I have just learned is shutting down a Facebook group with 11,000 members to start all over. I think he likes just to climb mountains or something. So I got to ask him, what the heck is he doing? 11,000 is going back to zero.
It is,
What are you thinking, Jonathan? You just like pain?
it's actually 12,000
Oh,
members.
12,000. Oh, that's better.
Plus the second group was like 2,000 members. So it's like 14,000 members altogether that I'm killing it. I spent 6 years building this and I'm killing it. Why am I doing this? Okay, so I'll tell you
What the heck?
inside baseball about doing business on Facebook. All right, so Facebook groups are a great way to build a community and communicate with your with your followers and stuff, and kind of get your your teaching out there and stuff like that. There really can be a great way to build community, and I did really successfully build a community with my Facebook group, multifamily investment community. The problem is that what we found over time is that Facebook kind of like messes around with Facebook groups. And first they were promoting Facebook groups because they made Facebook sticky. Like people stuck around on Facebook to participate in these communities, and they were showing them to everybody. They were really encouraging. They were like making it possible for people to see groups that they could be interested in and join them. And so we had a lot of growth, and it was great. Then Facebook realized that people like me were using Facebook basically to build businesses without paying Facebook, right? So Facebook didn't like that. Facebook didn't like you getting, leads,
Shocking.
building a community without paying them. So now, frankly, I would have been happy to actually pay Facebook to promote like the group, right? But they didn't let you do that either for some reason. So it was like this weird thing. They wanted your groups to be organic, but they didn't like the fact that you were not paying them, and so they started like hiding groups, or they started making it even group members wouldn't see group posts, and they built this sort of self-defeating algorithm, which was that the more active and engaged your group was, the more that they showed it to people. But the more they showed it to people, the more you got sort of casual, unengaged people joining the group because they thought like, oh, maybe I'm interested in this. And then so you actually wind up with a situation where you have a big group, but you have a lot of people who aren't engaged. And then Facebook then decides, well, that means that your group isn't that great. And then they don't show it to people. And it's like, it's ridiculous. So we kind of looked into first, like, well, how do we get rid of all these inactive members? And there really isn't any good, clean way to do it, right? You could try to go through manually, but it's almost impossible to tell like who's engaged, who's not engaged, because oftentimes, people are reading stuff or they're following, but they're not commenting or liking, right? So they're passively engaged in it. They're not actively engaged in it. It's almost impossible. So what we decided to do instead was, let's just do it so that our most engaged members come and join us in a new group. And we'll have a new group, at least for a while, hopefully a couple of years, that's just comprised of the engaged people who want to contribute, who want to learn, who want to make friends, who are really find the topic of multifamily investment fascinating and are trying to build a business. Let's just limit it to those people. So what we're doing is basically consolidating all of the Facebook groups into this one new group under the Apartment Investors Club label, and just getting our most engaged people there. So I know some of you have joined my investment, my multifamily investment community before. I'm really grateful that you did that. I'm sorry to kind of make it a little bit of a pain in the neck for you to go join a new group. But
it took me 15 seconds to join a new group. You're okay. I'm good. I just did.
I hope that you'll understand the reasoning behind it, and it's going to be a better group as a result. So they're also, just to make it even more worth your while to spend that 15 seconds to go join this new group, I'm giving you a bunch of free stuff if you join. And so the first thing is, when you get to the group, Apartment Investors Club on Facebook, it's going to ask you to answer a couple of questions and to agree to the group rules. It's really important to do that because the bot is set up so that if you don't answer the questions and you don't agree to the group, you don't have to answer all the questions, but you do have to agree to the group rules. If you don't agree to the group rules, it will automatically boot you out after an hour. So it'll send you a message to remind you to agree, but still, just agree to the group rules. So I think when you go in your phone and you see it, the questions are going to pop up, and a lot of people have a tendency to swipe them away because they're so used to just swiping away, pop-ups that they don't realize that this is important. So when you go there, be sure to answer the questions. If you give me your email address, which you don't have to, it's not required. Even it says right there, it's optional. So only give it to me if you want it. But if you give me your email address, you will get on my email list, and you will get my free download, which is the ultimate checklist to getting your first 100-unit deal with other people's money. So basically walks you through every single step of a syndication in a huge checklist. That's one thing. When you get into the group, we're going to let everybody in around November 21st. When you get into the group, we're going to give you a free video series. It's a couple of hours of content. And I'm going to show you right now what's in that, just to kind of whet your appetite a little bit. So
let's see it.
We've got first how a syndication works. Okay, so this is going to walk you through exactly the steps of doing a syndication deal, right? So everything, this is on a high level, obviously.
Are you sharing, Jonathan? Because I don't see it.
Oh, you know what? Thank you so much for that. I was sharing, but I was sharing in my own mind. The screen. So thank you for that. So yes, share. Here we go. Share. Okay. So
perfect.
Yes. Sorry about that, folks.
Okay.
So yeah. So the first, you're going to get this 4-video series. The first one is an overview of how syndications work, right? So basically walking through the steps at a high level, just for the people who have always kind of wondered, well, how exactly does this work? I'm going to take you through sort of the very high level overview of exactly what happens in a syndication, right? And why it is that you make money in a syndication without using your own money or without having to have only your own money in the deal, right? The next video is a really important piece of this puzzle, which is how you actually get good deals, right? And I walk you through, I have kind of a 5-step process for how you break through with brokers. There's all this kind of like, people think there's this magical thing about getting off-market deals and whatnot and sending email to sellers. And like in the commercial space, it happens, but it is really rare. And the people who get that done are people who have they basically employ people to do cold calling full-time for them, right? I assume you're not in that position. And letters are also expensive and they don't work. What works is getting to know brokers and getting them to trust you, and they will show you the off-market deals, right? So, but this is a process that I've developed over the years to get me in front of brokers in new markets, right? And frankly, at this point, I don't need to use this anymore because I have enough of a reputation. I can just reach out to people. But when you're starting out, you can't just reach out to people. In most cases, you're going to get shot down. So you need to do a little bit of background homework, and this video will literally walk you through how to do that. And it's very simple. Once you know it, you'll get it. And frankly, you can also use this in any business. It works not just with real estate. I mean, if you're in any kind of business at all, the same process, you can adapt it, and it's really helpful. So then we're going to go to how you actually raise money from investors, right? So this is, again, a high-level overview of what you actually need to do to get investors to invest in your deals. And it's a 2-part process. What you do before the deal, before you get a deal, and what you do after you get a deal. And so if you're thinking about raising money, in any capacity. I mean, even if you want to do fix and flips and you're looking for people to lend you money, this is the same process, right? How you're going to build an investor base, right? So if you want to build an investor base, this is the process. Again, sort of high level overview, but there's enough information in here that if you apply what's in here, you can do this, right? And then finally, you get the mindset video. So adopting the proper mindset for success in multifamily investing, really frankly, any kind of investing, and I think any kind of business as well. But I think a lot of people come in with the idea that I'm starting out, I don't have anything to promote, who's going to listen to me, right? Mm-hmm. And if you look around and I give you specific examples, both sort of from my own life, my own mistakes, and other people who are, frankly, even more successful than me about how they got there, it's all been about promoting their business from day one, not having that idea that, nobody's going to listen to me. And you may not have the expertise yet, but there are ways that you can demonstrate authority without having, you know, the expertise and borrowing other people's expertise. So you can put this into place yourself. And I really highly encourage you to, you know, watch this video and you know, incorporate its lessons, right? So yeah, I heard something really really great the other day, a great sort of aphorism, which is that this is the poor man learns from his own mistakes and the rich man learns from those mistakes of others.
I
Well,
like that.
I talk a lot about my own mistakes in these videos, so you don't have to make them yourself. And frankly, that was always when I first got into the business of offering courses in the multifamily investment space. It was really because I felt a strong need to educate people about the mistakes that I made that were not ever talked about in the courses that I took, right? The stuff that I read, the courses I took, never mentioned any of these pitfalls, never mentioned, you know, things that you need to watch out for along the way. And I stepped into all these, you know, potholes myself. And I wanted to put together like a really comprehensive course that talks about all those pitfalls and how to avoid them and basically avoid those mistakes that I made and accelerate your process, so your progress. So this free series contains some of that stuff. Obviously, it's a short series, can't go into everything, but you'll see that there's enough there to really kind of get you going and get you motivated. So I really encourage you to join the group and get those free videos. So go to Apartment Investors Club on Facebook, answer the questions, and then we will be letting you in by November 21st, and you'll get access to all of this stuff that I mentioned.
I think this is I think it's a great strategy. I think it's the right thing to do. I'm sure it was hard when you kind of made that decision. Just, you know, hey, I'm going from something I've built for 6 years, 14,000 plus. I'm going back to zero. I'm sure I'm sure there was some mental kung fu going
It's
on.
scary. I'm still scared about this, right? I'm still not, you know, I'm still not sure that this is the right thing to do. But I mean, you know, like I'm trusting my marketing person who I trust, you know, really completely. This is the strategy that we think is going to work best for, you know, getting a smaller, tighter, but more engaged, you know, group that we can really build a great community around. So
Yeah, having an engaged Facebook group is amazing. I have one called One Rental at a Time Works. It's a private group. It's I call it the happiest place on the internet because it's all positive, all networking, pictures of people winning. It's an amazing place. So I know you're doing the right thing. I know it's scary. Folks, do me a favor. If you watch Jonathan and I every week, I want you to do what I just did at the end of video number 2. Pull out your phone, go if you're on your computer, go to the site now, answer. There's 2 questions, and then a third optional. Agree to the rules. Just show him some love today. He told me earlier that he's like at 400 people. Let's get him over 1,000. Jonathan, one more time. What is the group name?
it is the Apartment Investors Club.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So thank you.